We are live here on YouTube. My name is Rich Lieberman, and I want to get to the core of it. That's why this is kind of a different background. This is a kind of a black and white issue, okay? A little bit of a metaphorical mix, but I wanted to be blunt about this because this bothers me, and I shouldn't say bothers me. I want to tell you, the folks who watch me, and especially those in the media, who I know, many of whom they'll deny it, but they watch. And I know this, folks. Trust me, and I'll explain why in a second with a challenge. I rip a lot of people and companies, TV, radio. I'm very critical. And conveniently for them, when I do occasionally give some people or a company credit credit them for good work, which they conveniently ignore from time to time. Um, but that's a whole nother story. Yes, I am very critical because I remember the days when I started out, and it wasn't that long ago. I was in an environment, and even when I wasn't, I saw people who cared about their craft. I saw companies that gave a damn and weren't owned by fucking hedge funds, who cared about television news, who cared about radio, who had broadcast acumen and didn't flush shit down the toilet and hire nincompoops and muttheads as so-called talent. So, yeah, this has been ongoing for years now, particularly in radio. Not so much in other markets. Hell, even LA, it's got just iotas of more decent stations than San Francisco. It's embarrassing here. But the main thrust of what I want to talk to you about and get the message out is very important that you listen to this. I have gone after people. I've said this a million times, and I really mean this. I'm not here to make friends. I long ago lost any interest, and I say that with a little bit of sarcasm, but I'm not here to make friends. This is my mission because I thought talking about these idiots, and that's the best I can call them, and exposing them as the posers that they are, and trying to fool you guys into thinking that they have some iota of talent or that they were serious and that they weren't being recruited and hired simply because they were replacements for either people that screwed up but mainly made too much money or in a different era. And we're in a different era now, as you obviously know. It's again not so much on TV news, although that's the case, but it's more in radio, the little radio that we have left. And I call a lot of people out. You know, if you've watched me or read me in the past, yes, I'm very critical. And the ones individuals that I really truly despise are the ones that are frauds, that say a lot of shit, act a certain way, but are completely different personality, project a fake persona, think that their you know what doesn't stink, and somehow they're in another, well, they're in a bubble and they project that shit on you guys. So I call them out. And this is a new policy. Anybody and everybody that I have called out, and there's lots, as you all know, I invite, have invited them on, not directly, but I'll make it direct now. Have invited them and invite them to come on my show and to, if they want to, rebut what I say, which I know is correct. But they don't respond. You know why? And I haven't made any direct appeals. They don't do my show and they won't. And I don't need validation. I already know people in the know. And even if this wasn't the case, I don't give a damn. I'll tell you about that in a second. The people in the know watch me now, have read me in the past. They understand where I'm coming from. They know full well because they've worked with these cretins before, if they were around. A lot of them now are new people that they hired off the street. I've jokingly referred to some of these morons as Uber drivers, which I apologize to the Uber driver people because I know you guys work hard. It's not a knock against you. It's just the point is, some of these people are now working behind the scenes, which is fine. But working behind a microphone when you have no experience, when the other reason why they put you on the air is because you are cheap. You're perceived that you'll work at any price, even if it means defaming yourself and making others look quite ridiculous. I have put out the word, and I will presently put out the word. Anybody that I knock, any company, whether it's a TV station, a radio station, corporate, otherwise, there's an open invitation. You want to come on this show? I would love to debate you, not literally and figuratively, but take a sense of what I have said and refute me, fine. Prove me otherwise. But you know what, folks? They're not going to do it because they know that I would kick their ass, figuratively speaking, and they know that I'm right. Some are in denial. Some are just complete and utter frauds, and they shake their heads when they watch me. But they watch me because they know, again, and it's not even a matter of right, wrong. There's no wrong. We're talking about these little actors who got chosen to do what they do. Some of them working pennies and nickels on the dollar compared to what they used to get. And others are just those who they don't give a shit. They have egos. They might have spouses or girlfriends or boyfriends or whomever is their guardian. I'm on the radio or I'm on television. Nobody gives a shit anymore because that badge of honor is no longer the case. And I'm not upset. I get irritated when I see these people, when the lies that come out, that beautiful Brian Murphy contract extension bullshit. Yeah, we're going to fire Tom Tolbert, who's nothing great, but give me a break. And John Lund, who I've completely exposed, Mr. Interesting Man. Yeah. They got rid of these guys. Yeah. Too much money. So, yeah, too much money. We can't pay the bills to pay fucking PG&E to make sure the lights are turned on. We're fucking telling people not to go to Subway and use the house account because it no longer is in existence. But we're going to give Brian Murphy a contract extension, which has utterly no meaning whatsoever and is total bullshit because it doesn't involve realness. And they foist that shit on their own workers in a way, I guess, in their mind, to boost morale and for those who say, well, maybe the company is okay. Maybe we don't have to worry about our own jobs. Don't worry about your own jobs because if you're making the minuscule amounts of money that you're making, and I'm not mocking these people, it's just the way it is now. But they use that to fool you guys, and you're too smart for that. And if you're not, That's why I'm here. And I call them out. I expose them. They're nothing but posers, like a Brian Murphy. And I have nothing against Brian Murphy. Personally, he's kind of a yutz. He comes across as this jovial kind of a dude, as he likes to call himself and others. He's a shill. He's an out and out shill. He's an ass kisser. He is a corporate ass kisser who kisses the ass of whom he deems as important, like Larry Bear. And that's fine. You got to feed the family. I get all that. It's not just Brian Murphy. There's others. Some of them, work in other capacities or have other gigs, maybe TV, whatever, radio. And I'll put it out. I've repeated this ad nauseum, but I'll say it here officially. If any of these characters, morons, yutzes, putzes, schmucks, want to come on and refute, and again, they're not going to come on. They're not going to come on because this is unedited. This is live. There's no somebody pushing buttons or able to edit out answers, even from the interviewees. They won't do it. In their mind, two things. One, it would legitimize Rich Lieberman. No, I don't need your fucking legitimacy or your validation. I already have my valid. That's why I do this, even when I'm sick. And when I have this fucked up viral, whatever the fuck is, use my French. Not really, we're adults. These people, and some of them think they're quite talented and they go around bragging about their status. It's not just Brian Murphy. There's a whole bunch. Damon Bruce, who likes to go around mocking me and belittling me because one time years and years ago, I had somewhat of a almost nervous breakdown and called him to talk because I thought he was a mensch, which he knows that word, most of you do, and confided in him until he decided to go public via his friends to kind of belittle me. Doesn't work. I don't care. I don't hide anything. I have quite a surplus amount of truly awful behavior. Nothing catastrophic, nothing criminal, just mostly behavior based on different times when I was truly and have been in the past foobarred, fucked up beyond all record. And I'm not talking about drugs, or alcohol or what have you. I'm just talking about a state of mind. I'm going off subjects because I don't want to branch off. Damon Bruce is another one who thinks so highly of himself, and was fortunate enough to meet basically a groupie who happened to have a good job with one of the tech companies and, and ended up, God bless him, marrying this guy, having a child and all that, which I don't bemoan. I don't talk about that, but I do bring it up. Other individuals like Brian Murphy and a Damon Bruce and a Larry Krueger, who I've mocked and made fun of because now he's doing this stupid show at night that nobody listens to. They put him on and give him a paltry, $100 a show or whatever the fuck it is, so we could talk about 6th-round draft picks from Muckafucka State. It's content. It's a body. But I've exposed him too. And when I say exposed, look, he's fine. He did a stupid little program for them and he was making pretty good coin until they got rid of him because he was making too much money. And they put him back on the air because he kissed a lot of ass and he's willing to take that amount to talk from his garage. It's not just him either. It's others. There's TV people. I made fun of people like Bill Martin. God bless him. He survived multiple decades at KTVU. But mumbling, bumbling. And no, and I have praised people like Pete Giddings because they were true craftsmen and entertainers, and not only gave you the correct information, they were entertaining, that kind of thing. I mock Bill Martin. Bill Martin is now retired. People like that. Uh, Same thing with this idiot schmuck at KGO, Reggie Aki. You're a disgrace. And again, I don't give a shit of your personal life, your this, that, or the other. I pick on anybody who I think sucks, for lack of a better term. And Reggie, you check a certain box or whatever Disney deems as resourceful for whatever market, but you're an idiot. How do I know that? Because I think so, and your own people who work there know that you're an idiot. You've worked some other places where you satisfied a box check. Look it up. It's kind of a little of a code words that involve the way they do hiring these days. That's the world in which we're in. And when I make ill of radio people at KCBS, none of them are going to come here because they understand and they know, again, it's not a matter of right or wrong. They know the essence of what I'm saying is completely tight. Again, I don't need validation or their endorsement, they being the masses, to know what I'm saying. I fulfill a purpose. I'm not being holier than thou. I'm not suggesting that, that you worry when I'm gone. Look at the shit that we have today. And I call them out. It's like because they, and this is all the people at KCBS pretty much. There's a few good people that are left, but folks, I get email after email after email from various people who used to work at KCBS. They understand where I'm coming from. And look, the easiest thing to say, which they have, oh, we're in a different world, Rich. This is just the way it is. No, it's not the way it is. What, because we have an internet? Because we have social media? Good. There's more avenues where people could say stuff. They're not going to say anything. And that's why I'm here. Because I am not beholden to special interests. I'm not in wanting, nor would I, they wouldn't offer, and I'm not interested about working for these various fraudulent assholes, companies, and be beholden to the restrictions that they have. Look, if I had 3 kids and a mortgage and working for one of these bastards, well, of course, I probably wouldn't say and couldn't say the things that I do say. And again, we're not talking life and death in that regard. I have an opinion, so I come out with it and not have to worry about the consequences. That doesn't mean I'm reckless and I just shit on people. Look, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. There are people out there who I'm not fans of, whether personally or professionally or otherwise. I might be in love, metaphorically speaking, again, with someone, but if they suck on the air, I'm probably a little heavy lifting. I'm not going to come out and belittle them, but they know who they are. And look, I've lost a lot of friendships based on my rather, less than flattering opinions or critiques of their work. So be it. Consequently, there are people that I can't stand, who I happen to have met or know about, that I've praised. Figure it out. I don't work by this. Oh, look, human nature. There's some things that I have said, and people have gone out of their way who believe in this site and watch me that have been nice. I'll just leave it at that. Look for God's sakes, look at what I did with Ron Owens for years. I belittled him. I made fun of him. I mocked him. I was angry with him because I thought what he did at KGO was far, far inappropriate. I thought Ron was bigger. Well, about a year back, I thought, you know what? It's time to bury the hatchet with Ron Owens, and obviously circumstances and things that have come out. That's the reason I had a love and a complete appreciation for Ron Owens when he was Ron Owens, when he was in his prime, and otherwise at KGO, he was the best. You know that. I mean, there's people like Michael Savage. People giving me shit about Michael Savage. How dare you? He's a. You know what? I don't worry about that. I comment based upon what I perceive as talent, or good, or bad, or indifferent, and I come out and say it. Savage is brilliant. Way, way, way too good for the radio we have today's, which is one of the reasons why he's gone to his own show here on YouTube or does his podcast, what have you. I got a lot of response on the Michael Savage, the interview with Gavin Newsom, and so many of you, again, with the Gavin Newsom, I don't really care for Gavin Newsom. And I don't know whether he's going to run for president a couple of years. Based on the last election, I don't know. But we have different eras and times and all that. But can't some of you take your fucking, political shit off and just comment on a specific thing? He did an interview with Savage. It was good, interesting viewing. He's had Steve Bannon on. I didn't see that interview, but I'm not a big Gavin fan. I probably wouldn't vote for him. And I don't know whether he probably is trying to go to the middle so he can, get a potential voting block of people that would, maneuver himself into a possibility of a real, run and a real, good chance of being the next president. But I'm not here talking about politics. I'm talking about individuals. Anyway, my point was, Newsom, I gave him credit, did a good job. Savage was brilliant. It was watchable. The people have to get that through their head sometimes. I don't want to hear your comments and, oh, Newsom, make your jokes. I mean, I know what the fuck was going on. I know about the girlfriend. I know about his friends, about his friend's wife, and all that shit. Sorry, my voice. Those are interests. Those are subject matters for another day. The people who project themselves to be this, that, or the other when they're neither, when they're complete posers and fraudsters and act like they're big to-dos, those are the ones I rip and I critique. And I'm not afraid to come out and say what is on my mind. And I, again, present tense, offer you the opportunity to come on here and say whatever you want to say. And tell me where I'm wrong. So I don't have to worry about that because they're not going to respond because they know that I'm right. They want to keep projecting that image, whether it's TV or on radio, and try to fool you guys. I think the vast majority of you guys are smart, or at least smarter than they are, which unfortunately is not that bright a deal, but you get my drift. And look, I don't belittle people just to do so. I actually try to make a rhyme and reason and so forth. I'm very specific for the most part about what I call out phoniness or exposure these people, these mutants, some of them. And I know they see it and they watch it because it's just, I know I have feedback from people who have worked, are either currently working in the business, have worked in the business, and they watch me because they know that nobody else, and I'm not patting myself on the back, as I've often said, this needs to be out. This information needs to be put out there because a lot of these yahoos, they're in their own world, like they're in their own little bubble, and they think this shit that they spew out or the bullshit, yeah, they're entertaining. They're awful people. They're awful. They're phony. They, as I said, they project one thing and they're completely opposite personally. And that to me, yeah, you have to be called out. Most of them can't even interview, first of all, by the way. Some of them don't even know their craft. They're complete, absolute pussies. I'm going to use that word. And they have basically an approval from management and from the corporate assholes who own them because they do well. As long as they don't make too much money and don't have the numbers, then they'll do what they do. And I have opinions about that. And they're not going to come here. They're not going to respond. And I, again, haven't directly said to so and so, hey, you want to come on the show and refute what I said, or you want to, you want a second opinion, you want to tell me why I'm wrong? Come on. No. I'm doing this now because it's come to mind, little cranial feature up here, as it has for a while, that, you call them out, Rich, and yada, yada. Why don't you, can you lighten up? No, I'm not going to lighten up. Do they lighten up? As long as this crap is out there, no. No, I have thought about that. I'm going to say this for the millionth time. Folks, you know what I despise? I despise anonymous people who say a lot of shit, who attack, most of the time, even personally, yet they don't have the balls to say whom they are, who they are. My name, my persona, my every wart and whatever is all out there. I do not hide behind keyboards. I critique, I rip, I say why I think such and such is the shits, whether it's play by play, whether it's hosting a talk show, whether it's on television or radio or internet, or fact that a certain newspaper in town, the only paper in San Francisco pretty much, called the Chronicle, call those bastards out because they're pimple-assed reporters who sit next to their computers, which is next to their alfalfa sprout shit Gouda cheese, and drink their Kai mochas and drip fucking teas, do shit about me and rip me off occasionally without attribution, yet do not have the balls to say who they are. And I will, as long as the Chronicle gives me ammo, I will point out their warts and the fact that all they talk about, it seems, is the red burrito stand in the Mission, the purple house on fucking Union Street, or this was a beautiful one today. What is today? Wednesday. A whole fucking story about a contestant on Jeopardy who got a clue right about San Francisco. Did you check that out? Even for SF Gate, it was hilarious for all the wrong reasons. A whole main story right there. This is how bad they've become. About a Jeopardy contestant who got answer with regards to San Francisco city streets and San Francisco itself, as if that was some big fucking news item. What a joke. That's just one aspect. I see bad shit, I critique it. I will talk about it, especially when the company of that ilk steals from me, doesn't give me attribution when I deserve it, in my opinion. But beyond that, folks, we used to be a hotbed of creativity. We used to be, for God's sakes, the bastion of real good, and we still have occasional good work and websites and all stuff of that nature. People who work on the radio, most of them are syndicated now, but by and large, this area, oh my God, how it's fallen. Anyway, and none of those people, as I said, will come on this show and refute what I say because they know that I'm right. What did I sound like, a drunk cat? Yay! It's another story. But so I just wanted to come out and say that because I have this show here, and lastly, and I know I kind of go on, but it's to make a point. And this is somewhat self-serving, but I have to say it because I know how some of you work. I got shit because a couple weeks ago I came on and said I'll see you tomorrow or something like that. And again, I've been fighting this fucking virus for 6 weeks now, and it makes you feel shitty. It makes you feel lethargic. It starts in your nose, or maybe it's in your stomach, and what have you. But it goes on, and I haven't been able to beat it yet. And I went to the hospital, I had tests, and all this shit. And anyway, I get shit from people giving me shit about taking time off, as if I'm going real rich. I can take time off. I said that it really hurt me, in fact, by taking so much time off, but I really could not go on there. I didn't sound good. I felt like shit, as I've often stated. This thing is just beating me up. I know some of you have had it or have it presently, and it takes the vast amount of energy and zaps it out of you. So anyway, I just wanted to tell most of you people, the main cool people who understand, don't even agree with me oftentimes, but you understand the situation. Folks, I'm sick. I was sick. I'm getting stronger, but it just, as I said, could be in your head, maybe psychosomatic, perhaps, but it just is relentless, whether it's here or here or here or here or wherever. It is very debilitating. It's not the life and death, but it makes you feel like shit. So I wasn't taking days off. I was making love to my bed because I felt crappy and not good enough to come on here. Even when I was I want to talk, driving me nuts about shit going on, news or, industry shit or rumors or stuff taking place within our local little media that we have. So on the record, that's my situation. I've done a few broadcasts for 2 days now. Hopefully, time heals all wounds, including viruses and flus and all. It's funny, I didn't even have a flu. It's weird. No temperature, but you still feel kind of lethargic and shitty, and you have no energy. And anyway, okay. I wanted that on because a lot of you were giving me, and I know they're trolls. And by the way, you know what? Trolls, I mean, I know I'm killing myself. Some of you are going to say this. Why even give them, you know, credit, or why even, you're just asking for it. Oh, I know. They're going to be out there. They're like little termites. You know, I had to call Joe Starkey. Hey, Joe, these termites. Yikes. That was a little inside joke, but they're just schmucks for putzes. I mean, I laugh at some of the shit. Most of the shit I do laugh. Some of it's a little disturbing, but that's life. Again, it's the internet. I get all that. So, I ain't gonna go down that road. I guess I did. But keep them coming. They're always lovely. And I know most of you, I know who you are. You don't think I know, but because I ignore you, but I have a lot of people who work kind of in areas of, shall we say, computer largesse that understand the whims and how certain phrases and how you term me, there's a little consistency there. I'm not going to give you too many clues, but anyway, and so I've been feeling ill, but I'm a little bit better, but I don't know tomorrow. So, you know, um, I just wanted to get that out, and hopefully, you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. And there's supposed to be, we're going to have real weather pretty soon. It's going to be hot, or at least warm. So now KCBS can talk about actual weather and not repeat the same shit every other 5 minutes about something that we all know. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. Lastly, tips. Send them my way. You have my email address, rich.lieberman@gmail.com. Donations, contributions that keep me going so that I can continue to pay bills that are required for internet, for high speed, for phones, for information gathering, and my expertise. The modern day Woodward and Bernstein. Um, so, yeah, keys, please contribute or contribute, however you want to pronounce it. And thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.